Going on, Jerome's. So this could be the most fun and nuts offseason in terms of quarterback movement. So there's already been a couple of trades. There's going to be a bunch more free agency, the draft. So we're going to go through and predict, guess at the starting quarterback of all 32 NFL franchises this upcoming season. So we'll start with the obvious ones. Packers running it back with octogenarian Aaron Rodgers. He'll probably, I don't know if my future's going to be here. Probably going to work out an extension. Probably going to get a big-time pay raise, even though the Packers are $28 million over the cap. They're going to lose Corey Linsley and Aaron Jones. Probably have to cut Preston Smith, and for that, we thank you. Bills, Josh Allen, respect. Played at MVP adjacent level throughout most of the season. I think Brian Daboll being back, as well as Stephon Diggs not complaining, going to be really big for Bills Mafia. Chiefs, Mahomes. Hopefully that toe is good to go, man. Like, toes are no joke. Yeah. Then the Bucks, and hopefully they give him some offensive line help. I mean, come on. Mike Remmers, you're starting left tackle in the Super Bowl. Come on. Tom Brady, Bucks. He's going to try and win ring number 8. That is bat bleep insane. Also, Tom Brady has more Super Bowl rings than all of the franchises in NFL history. How crazy is that? Awesome. Cardinals, even though Kyler should have known that maybe the loyalty of the Cardinals sort of fleeting, because, well, it's like Rosen got Rosen, and then Kyler was the mistress, and now he's sort of surprised. It's like, oh, well, they could be moving on, but year 3 is going to be really big for the pride of Oklahoma, former number 1 overall pick. Vikings, Kirk, yeesh. Unless the Niners come in and offer a 1 and a 2 and some change, I do not want Jimmy Garoppolo. No, never, no. Bengals, Joe Burrow. Even though Burrow, with that knee, is he going to be ready for the start of the season? Probably could potentially start on the pup. I mean, do they bring a guy like Andy Dalton back? Wouldn't be the worst idea. Eagles, for the love of everything that's holy. So every other mock draft has the Eagles taking a quarterback at 6. No. They took Jalen Hurts in the second round last year. He looked good when he was allowed to play as a rookie. Build around him. Jalen Hurts is a good dude, man. He doesn't need another quarterback controversy. No. And they are going to trade Carson Wentz. We'll get into where here in a sec, but build around Hurts. Howie Roseman was there. He drafted Hurts, and go. Lions, so maybe they will build around Jared Goff, or at least give him the college try. And do they take a quarterback at 7? Nah, I don't see it. They could take a mid-round guy like Kellen Mond or Jamie Newman, but a guy in the first round, I think there's other positions of need, especially wide receiver, potentially a linebacker. But yeah, they're going to run it with Jared Goff one time. Cowboys, Dak Prescott. Now, he is a true blue free agent. Was on the franchise tag last year. I think they kiss and make up because you saw what happened. So the Cowboys offense with Dak, and then he got hurt. Whack. So I think they, at minimum, put the second franchise tag on him. I think they do work out a long-term deal this time around, though. 11 Giants. So Daniel Jones, year 3, big year. If they're going to find out if he's going to be the guy long-term in Big Blue or no. Baker Mayfield, Browns, had a nice little renaissance last season with Kevin Stefanski. Hopefully they keep going. Ravens, extend Lamar, extend him and protect him and get him weapons. Rams, Matthew Stafford. Rams apparently are Super Bowl contenders now with a quarterback who's never won his division. Great. Even though he had first ballot Hall of Famer Kelvin Megatron Johnson as his wide receiver 1 for a long time, but okay, sure. Titans, Ryan Tannehill. So props to the Titans and Arthur Smith, who departed to become head coach of the Falcons. They resurrected Ryan Tannehill. Because remember, everyone left Tannehill for dead after the Dolphins, but then he was brought in to be Mariota's backup in Tennessee, eventually usurped him, and now is one of the better quarterbacks in the league. It really is amazing. Then 16 Chargers. Justin Herbert, the alleged offensive rookie year. Cool. All right, so now some ones are up in the air. Jets. Who's going to be the signal caller for the Jets week 1? Robert Saleh, his first-time head coach. Let's go. Deshaun. Yes, Broadway Deshaun. They get it on. So the Jets trade the number 2 overall pick and 2 future ones for the pride of Clemson. And I like it. I like it, man. I think the Jets suddenly become a contender quickly. Now, I understand. They're a young team. They're unproven, but Robert Saleh is a winner. He's a true blue leader of men. Plus, LaFleur the younger, the 8-year-old boy, I guess we'll be working with Deshaun. He's got Denzel Mims. He's got Mekhi Becton watching his ass, so we're going to be good. 18. So you got the Patriots. Now, what are they going to do? They could potentially be out of range for drafting even Mac Jones in this draft. Free agency, they got money to spend. They're going to spend it. Who are they going to spend it on? Jimmy Garoppolo, come on home. And the cats and the cradle and the silver spoon. So Belichick wanted Jimmy Garoppolo. He wanted to trade Tom Brady. Robert Kraft was like, no. So then they ship him to San Francisco for a second round pick. But Jimmy G, his ass is going to get cut by the Niners. They're going to make their move. So Jimmy Garoppolo signs a free agent deal with the Patriots, 2 years, $24 million total. And then we move on with life. And the Patriots, that Belichick is just pissed off and just burning because, Tom Brady, Brady won a ring. Your ass didn't even make the playoffs. The Cam Newton experiment did not work, but yeah, Jimmy G back in the building. Next up, so the Dolphins, do they take a quarterback at 3? Do they trade Tua? They missed out on Deshaun. What did they do? Tua and Marcus Mariota. That's right. Hawaii 808 represent, baby. So they trade the number 3 overall pick to the Panthers. They drop down to 8. We'll get into that in a second. And then they trade a 3rd round pick to the Raiders for backup quarterback Marcus Mariota. And the Raiders will be dealing here. We'll get into that in a sec. But yeah, they're going to give Tua every single opportunity. But if he doesn't pan out, they got Marcus. A nice little fallback plan for Brian Flores and company. 20, you got the Bears. Yeah. Carson Wentz. So they trade the number 20 overall pick as well as a future 2 to the Eagles for Wentz. And for that, we thank you. John DeFilippo, recently promoted to passing game coordinator of the Bears, whatever the hell that means. Of course, has a long history with Carson Wentz. Probably going to go to bat for him. And as a Vikings fan, as a fan of a team that gets to play the Bears twice a year, thank you. 21 Niners. So the Niners cut Jimmy G. What are they going to do? Do they draft a quarterback at 12? Is 12 too late? Or do they make a move? Sam, Jerome, Ezekiel, Darnold. So the Jets are done with Darnold. They traded for Deshaun. They want to recoup some draft capital. So the Niners trade a 3rd for Sam Darnold. Plus, they do cross their T's and dot their I's. They do draft a late round one Ian Book in the 6th round. But, Sam Darnold's show. And I think that with Kyle Shanahan, Darnold could actually have a chance to pan out. Where the Jets has been a mess, it will be a mess, but there's a reason why this kid was a number 3 overall pick in 2018, and I think that he'll get it done. 22 Colts. So now what do you do? They missed out on Darnold, missed out on Deshaun. They're way out of range for a top-end quarterback. Chris Ballard ain't going to reach anyway, so hey, Teddy. So, like we said, the Panthers do trade up to 3. We'll get into that in a sec. So, they're done with Teddy. He's on a very reasonable deal. The Colts have all the cap space in the world. So, they trade a 4th-round pick, a steal for Hey Teddy, as well as they do have 4th-round pick Jake Eason in the building as well. Next up, Seahawks. So, a big kerfuffle has gone on about what's going to happen with Russ. But I think at the end of the day, they work it out. Where I feel like Russ's life equity, being the quarterback of the Seahawks, it's just too much. And sure, he may want to go somewhere else where the offensive line is a little bit better, but I think that he sent his message, shot across the bow, served his purpose, and I think the Seahawks will build an offensive line around him. Even though they should have known long beforehand that, hey, we're just taking advantage of Russell Wilson's mobility, but nah. I think that they do hug it out and keep the band together for at least a foreseeable future. Hell, Russ may just use this to leverage a new deal. It's possible. 24. So the Steelers, Big Ben, probably going to retire. And you got Dwayne Haskins. You got Mason Rudolph. You got Josh Dobbs. Sure. But Kevin Colbert gets on the horn with the Raiders. Derek Carr. That's right. Old AFC hated rivals. Immaculate reception. They get Derek Carr, the immaculate interception, and they send a 2 to the Raiders for Carr. Woo. So what are the Raiders going to do? Oh, we'll get to them in a sec. So now into the draft. Jaguars 1. Don't F this up. For Duval, Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, makes sense. Then Texans. So remember, the Texans got the number 2 overall pick as well as 2 future ones from the Jets for Deshaun. So now what do? Do they completely implode? Do they rebuild? No. They take their guy of the future, Zach Wilson. It's going to be a struggle for a while. It is. And Andy Dalton stays in Texas, goes from the Cowboys to the Texans, returns to Southeast Texas, the pride of Katy, Texas, Andy Dalton, TCU. So the Red Rifle. I mean, if the Texans are going to be bad, and the Texans are bad, like their offensive line besides Tunsil is horrible. They got no weapons. Well, they have Brandon Cooks, so AKA they have no weapons. So what do? Do you just trot Andy Dalton out there to take his lumps, David Carr style, 2002, just so that Zach Wilson's psyche is saved? You might. You really might. Panthers, like we mentioned, traded up from 8 to 3 to take Justin Fields. Yes, Justin Fields with Matt Rule in that offense. Diamond Joe Brady, Christian McCaffrey, those receivers. Oh. I like it, man. I like it. So quarterbacks go 1, 2, 3. Next up, so the Broncos have the number 9 overall pick. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? No pants for Trey Lance. Sorry, the pride of NDSU heads to Denver, Sunshine State, gorgeous. And he dukes it out with Drew Lock, former second-round pick out of Mizzou. Get it on. Love it. George Payton, old friend, gets his guy. Next up, the Raiders. So like we mentioned, they got some extra draft capital from trading Derek Carr. They got a second from the Steelers, as well as they traded Mariota to the Dolphins for a third-round pick. They used some of that draft capital to move up to number 14 overall. Dun, 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 dun. Mac Jones, come on in. You're going to be the next distributor of the Las Vegas Raiders. Plus, they signed the hero of their narrow loss, actually tragic loss earlier in the season, Ryan Fitzpatrick, going from Miami to the Raiders via free agency. Get it. I mean, Fitzpatrick might make the Raiders a playoff team. That's how crazy that is. Last 3. So the Saints are sort of stuck. They have 0 cap space. In fact, they're like $90 million over the cap. They're really out of range for drafting the big 4, potentially 5 quarterbacks. So what do? Well, they overdraft Kyle Trask. They take him in the second round, number 60 overall, and then they sign Jameis on a minimal deal, plus they still have Taysom Hill. And some amalgamation of that is going to be their quarterback. Great. Falcons, like we mentioned. So what do they do? Well, you see what happened here. So they obviously passed on quarterback at 4. They're going to keep it rolling with Matt Ryan for 1 season in the Arthur Smith regime. So they have Matt Ryan, but they draft Kellen Mond in the 3rd. Ooh. So Arthur Smith gets a quarterback, potentially a quarterback of the future, and Matt Ryan probably has 2, maybe 3 good years left of him. They keep the man together. Julio, Calvin Ridley, just strap it on one time and hopefully get back into the Derby. Lastly, Washington. So they just re-signed Taylor Heineke this year, as well as in the 3rd round, they take Jamie Newman, the pride of Wake Forest. So Heineke, Jamie Newman, they miss out on Stafford. They don't want Kirk Cousins, and they're going to move on with life there. So that's it. That's predicting where all 32, the starting quarterback for all 32 National Football League teams in 2021. What are your thoughts on our thoughts? Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work, pull some of the Venmo. But until next time, Skull Production Value.